Hi, I'm going to talk about just the absolute power of your reference angles. And remember what our reference angle is. The reference angle, which will go theta prime, is going to be equal to an acute angle. And when we're dealing with reference angles, we usually talk about theta prime being 30 degrees, 45 degrees, or 60 degrees. So we can build a sine of theta prime, a cosine of theta prime, and then the tangent of theta prime. Excuse me. I'll let you build the secant, cosecant, and cotangent, which are your reciprocal functions, but I'll just focus on sine, cosine, and tangent for this. Now, as we go through this, you have to commit to memory the sine of 30, 45, and 60. Remember, the sine starts at 0. Cosine starts at 1. And as we move through, remember the pattern that we see. It's square root of 1, square root of 2, square root of 3, square root of 4 as we move through 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. So for 30 degrees, it's the square root of 1 over 2, which is 1/2. For 45 degrees, it's the square root of 2 over 2. And for 60 degrees, it's the square root of 3 over 2. And that's because we start at 0 and we increase from 0 to 90. Now, for cosines, we're going to decrease from 0 to 90, starting at 1, and all we do is we take the sine and go backwards. So we take the square root of 3 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, and then 1/2. And then the tangent is just going to be sine over cosine. This is 1 over the square root, square root of 3, which would be equal to the square root of 3 over 3. I always put this in here so we can get the reciprocal nice and easy. Square root of 2 over square root of 2 is 1. Square root of 3 over 1 is just the square root of 3 over 1, which is equal to the square root of 3. Now, we want to memorize this, so I'll put the m in the circle. In class, that means we got to memorize that. It'll save you so much problems and so much time. But now, when we're dealing with reference angles, let's say we ask this question. What values of theta, which is between 0 and 360 degrees, is the cosine of theta equal to the negative square root of 2 over 2. Alright. So, the line of thinking is, alright, well, if we know our reference angles, then we can kind of build this idea. And I'll say this. We'll go with this. Draw a coordinate plane. There's your 45 degree angle. Not drawn to scale. Doesn't have to be drawn to scale. It's just helping us out. So there's 45 degrees. Now, using the reference angle, I know that's going to be 45 degrees. That has to be 45 degrees. That has to be 45 degrees. So we can go through and say, alright, well that's halfway between 90 and 180. So this is 135 degrees. This is 180 and 270, 180, that's 225 degrees, 225 degrees. Then 270 to 360, that's 315 degrees. And now that the cosine is negative, we look for the x values are negative. So in here, x is negative on this side, so theta can equal this angle, 135 degrees, or theta is going to be equal to 225 degrees. And just by building the reference angle, using the reference angle and using these ideas, we can find the angles throughout excuse me, the coordinate plane where these are going to actually take place for us. Another example of this, let's say sine of theta is equal to the square root of 3 over 2. What are the possible values of theta between 0 and 360 degrees? So we say to ourselves, what's our reference angle? What angle is going to give us the sine of theta is equal to 300 or square root of 3 over 2? So we ask ourselves, all right, well, square root of 3 over 2, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is 90, 3, that's got to be the 60 degree angle. So I can build my references again, where that's 60 degrees, that's 60 degrees, that's 60 degrees, and that's 60 degrees. So I know there's 60 degrees there. That's 180 minus 60, so that's 120 degrees. 180 plus 60, that's 240 degrees. And 360 minus 60 is 300 degrees. So, oh, sorry, that was all done off screen. Quality videos here, remember that. So I ask myself again, alright, sine is positive. So where is the sine positive? You could do all students take calculus. You could do that. And or you could say sine is positive where the y is greater than 0. So we're looking at quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. So pick the angles from quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. So from quadrant 1, theta is equal to 60 degrees. And from quadrant 2, theta is equal to 120 degrees. So the reference angle is awesome because it can build these different ideas. And that's your 60 degree angle right there. So once you know your reference angle, all you have to do is know whether it's positive or negative, and then find the ones that are positive or negative using this type of a picture. So hopefully that'll work for you. Good luck.